Hey everybody, and welcome back to some more Oxygen Not Included. Last episode, we finally got our water sieve up and running so that we can now automatically filter all of our polluted water into regular water that we're using right now for our lavatories. And between episodes, I was looking into ways that we could possibly go a step further and actually remove the food poisoning from our clean water that once was polluted water so that we could use it in our sinks, maybe even in showers if we were to set those up. And I went through a bunch of wikis, I looked at a bunch of stuff to try and figure out how we could possibly do this, and it is doable. Recently in the game, they added a water reservoir, this guy down here, which you can use to store any liquid in the game, including water. And if you put that water reservoir into an area filled with chlorine, it will go ahead and kill any of the germs in that water, including the food poisoning. Now, I was going to try and set this up. I was going to try and get a reservoir, clear out the food poisoning, maybe unlock one of these germ sensors here. They have a liquid pipe germ sensor that can send an on-off signal depending on whether or not germs are detected inside of a pipe. And so I was looking into that. I was going to look at setting that up. And then it turns out that it actually doesn't matter at all if you use food poisoning infested water for anything other than food. So if you want to use food poisoning water for the sink, that's fine. The sink itself has like a debuff effect where it gets rid of food poisoning and germs, and so even if you use food poisoning infested water in the sink, it doesn't have any adverse effect on your duplicants, and so that's fine. You don't have to use normal water for that. And then even the shower, it does the same thing. It has a germ cleaning effect, and so even if you use food poisoning infested water in the shower itself, it doesn't matter. Your duplicates will still come out of the shower as clean as they can possibly be. They will have no surface germs on them whatsoever. And so we're not going to do that in today's episode. We might end up using a similar system in the future to maybe clean out gases. There are some germs that can live in gases and some gases that we could potentially look at cleaning out with this chlorine method. But that does lead me into one of the first things that I do want to do in today's episode. And that is over here in the new swamp biome. I don't know if it's actually called a swamp biome, but this biome over here that is full of algae and slime and whatnot. If we look at the germ overlay, you'll see that the slime lung that was once contained to the slime itself is now spreading and is actually in quite a lot of the air around here. And I looked into this, and it turns out that the slime lung can only survive in polluted oxygen. And so if we can turn this polluted oxygen into regular oxygen, we should be able to kill most of this slime lung here, which is something that I do want to do right at the start of today's episode, because I also do want to go and do some more mining in here, get some more sedimentary rock. That does also remind me that I do need to change what our hatches here are eating. Right now they're set to eat, I think, sandstone. And really, I want them eating solely sedimentary rock to give us the highest possible chance of getting those rock hatchlings so that we can get even more coal from our hatches. So we'll go ahead and we'll change that up like so. And then I'm fairly certain that all we need to do here is go to oxygen, grab ourselves some deodorizers. And if we put a couple of deodorizers down in here, it should begin to turn all of this polluted oxygen into regular oxygen, which should make it much, much safer for our duplicants to come and live in here. The main reason that I'm worried here is that there is some of this slime lung past the hand sanitizer, and I don't know quite how the game mechanics work in terms of your duplicants inhaling germs versus touching them. I think there probably is a difference in mechanic there, whereas if they do inhale them, then the hand sanitizer, of course, can't get rid of those germs because the germs are inside of them. At least I think that's how that works. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, we'll let our duplicants do that. Another thing that I do want to work on in today's episode is finally moving this body of water here to match this body of water on the right, thus freeing up a ton of space here for us to create 3 more rooms. One of those rooms, hopefully, will be a power plant, so we can actually put down a control station, and then eventually, when we get an engineer, we can go ahead and start to fine-tune our coal generator to produce even more power. That's the plan, at least. And so I'm going to do a little bit of tile management here. So 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So the tiles, the rooms on the other side of the base are 15 wide. There's no specific reason that I chose 15 wide. It's just the way I built it. And I think that's going to be fine for the time being. If we need more space in the future, we can always go ahead and make some of these rooms a little smaller. But essentially, I want my rooms to look like this, and then have the same one here, so it's symmetrical with the other side of the base here. So we don't need that, we don't need that. I'm also going to get rid of this for now, just so they can walk around to the other side here, because of course we do also want to have this tank, which is just like the other side, 5 blocks out, and then all the way down to here, like so. So we can cancel that, and we can also go ahead and delete this and this, and dig out everything that is here. And here, again, this water is going to fall down. I think that's fine. I'm also fairly certain we are going to have to destroy a couple of these tiles here. Actually, all of these tiles here to give our duplicants access to this area. So we'll let them do that. We'll also go ahead and schedule... actually, I want these to be a slightly higher priority if we get these deodorizers done first. So they can kind of get to work whilst we do the building over here. And then after that, I would also like to start doing some digging here. Before I do start digging... Actually, no, I was contemplating having all of this water fall down into here just so that it was all consolidated in one area, but I'm actually thinking that a lot of the sedimentary rock that we're after is kind of down in this lower level of the slime area, and so what I might do actually is dig out a bit of an area either side of this polluted water, thus spreading out the polluted water, and once it gets spread out enough, we can actually issue a mop command and then just mop up all of that polluted water and dump it into our area here. It does not have slime lung. I don't think that water can carry slime lung. I'm fairly certain that the slime lung can only live in slime, and so I think that should be fine. Yeah, you can see now that we're cleaning out this polluted oxygen. If we look over at the germ tab, we should start to see a fair amount of that slime lung disappearing. Maybe? I see the number like shooting up and then going down. I think it's as the oxygen moves around with the polluted oxygen. But in here, it is going down. Yeah, you can see now that it's normal oxygen, it is starting to slowly go away. Over here, all of the oxygen is moving around. The polluted oxygen is getting taken care of. That is all good. You'll notice we do have a little bit of slime lung in here as well. Again, I think mostly due to the fact that the air in here is not being taken care of. Not too big of a deal. We don't have any duplicants really spending too much time in here, although it might be worthwhile to put like a little ledge on this side and maybe put a deodorizer or two into here, especially considering there's no real downside to the deodorizer. We've got a ton of sand, and so it should really take care of that quite nicely. Speaking of germs, we do have, yeah, look at that. So Stinky has acquired slime lung, which is not great. And then May is also a little stressed. Was May the duplicant who spent the last episode in this polluted water down here? She might have been, I'm not quite sure. Is this good enough to mop now? It's still too much to mop, eh? I will continue to dig out in this direction to get the sedimentary rock, but I kind of want to get rid of this. I want to dig out all of this here, and then another thing that I would like to do in today's episode, I've got a lot of things planned for today if we get time, but another thing that I would like to start looking into is the Algae Refineries, which are actually called the Algae Distillers over here, which we can use to turn slime into algae, and also it produces polluted water as a byproduct. This is super useful, and we have unlocked it now, which is good. We unlocked the water sieve at the same time, but this is super useful because it allows us to turn all of this slime that we have here into algae, which is of course useful for making oxygen in our diffusers as well as down here in our terrariums. But on top of that, the fact that it also produces polluted water means that for all intents and purposes, it's just free extra water for us, especially now that we know that the lavatory, the sink, and the shower can all use that polluted water so long as it's first filtered through the sieve here, which we should be able to do just fine. And also, at some point, hopefully in today's episode, it might be a long episode, I would also like to get a better thimbleweed farm up and running. Once we move the coal generator here into its own room, I will either set up a thimbleweed farm right next to it, potentially in the same room, depending on how much space we have, but maybe not, because it's going to be a bit weird having plants growing inside of a power plant, but maybe just beneath it, like maybe in this level here, we'll move the coal generator upper floor and have this lower level be designated to these thimbleweeds. Remember, they do have to be in quite a warm area between 22 and 37 degrees Celsius, if I am remembering correctly, and this area here fits that bill perfectly. It's right next to this little hot area that we've got down here, which does get a little too hot, so we couldn't really build it down in here, but that's the plan at the very least. So they've done a fairly good job with this. They can't get through to the rest of it because they do not have a ladder, and I would prefer to have this be perfectly symmetrical with the other side. So I want my ladder to look like this. I'll go ahead and for now we'll put a door right about here, which of course means we have to first get rid of the tile, so our duplicants can kind of come in and then come down into what is eventually going to be our water tank. Could we also get a mop on this when someone gets a spare minute so that not all of our duplicants get soggy feet as they walk in here? And then we'll also like dig out a bit of space here as well, just so that our duplicants can actually get around and do things. I have trapped Stinky entirely within this base here, which is not what I intended to do, I promise. He might get a little stressed. Yeah, he's not too happy about the fact that he's sleeping out here in a pretty warm environment. It's 28 degrees Celsius out here. And how's the oxygen? Is the oxygen... And he's also sleeping in carbon dioxide. That's not great. Stinky's going to be a bit troubled there. I am a little worried about Stinky as well. The fact that he has slime lung here. I think we might have to look. He's also got a full bladder, low oxygen, and he's hungry, and he's got a sore back, and he's tired. Oh my goodness. Stinky is not having a good day. Can we get like a priority 9 on these ladders here, please? So that Stinky doesn't... No, okay, that's fine. That's fine. At least he peed on the floor before we connected it to the rest of the water. So this is a solvable situation. Yeah, that's all good. Okay, he's breathing again, which is fine. I have a feeling that's actually the first mess that we've had in the base, which is, I think, pretty good, but also, you know, not great. The fact we could have avoided that entirely. I'm thinking time to recovery, 2.6 cycles. So it negates his ability to breathe, and it also takes 3 off his athletics, and he coughs every now and again. I'm wondering if it wouldn't be a good idea to set up like a triage cot, maybe, to accelerate health restoration and healing of physical injuries. It does say physical injuries there, so maybe he can't use that to heal his slime lung. We have the sick bay, which allows duplicants to administer basic treatment to sick duplicants. Duplicants must possess the bedside manner skill to treat peers. And then the apothecary produces medicine to cure most basic diseases. Duplicants must possess the medical skill. So I think we just have to tough this one out, simply due to the fact that we don't have... Also, is he putting slime lung germs out into the air? I did see like a little thing that said like plus 1,000 slime lung there. I think he might be potentially spreading it to the other duplicants. May is covered in food poisoning. What the heck? Is that from... I presume that's maybe from going in this water over here. That might be why. Again, like I said, I don't think there's much we can do about that right now until we get somebody who is able to take care of illnesses. Like, we don't have anybody who's dedicated to medicine just yet, and so that's not really something that we can deal with. We do have a new duplicant available for selection. We also have new skills to allocate as well, which we'll get to in just a second. So right here we got +3 science and +3 cuisine. Could be quite useful for and also quick learners, so it could be quite good for the research there, although we do already have 2 people on research. Narcolepsy, not great. Flatulent, farts frequently. The duplicant will periodically output natural gas. I'm not quite sure what that means. Unconstructive, cannot do building, and snores loudly. I don't think I really want any of these. I think for now we are okay with 5 duplicants. We will, of course, upgrade to more later on down the line. 7% stress on Stinky A. Again, I don't know if there's much we can do about that right now, outside of just waiting it out and hoping that his stress doesn't get too high. If his stress does get too high, we could look into maybe getting a massage table to kind of lower that stress a little bit. I don't think that a triage cot's going to help because it's not a physical injury. And I don't think we can do anything else just yet because we don't have anybody trained in medicine. So I'm sorry, Stinky, but just hang on for 2.5 more cycles and you should be good to go, hopefully. And hopefully your stress doesn't get too high there. How are we doing on slime lung over here? It's still not great. Honestly, it is... There's a lot more oxygen in here now as opposed to polluted oxygen, which is good. So presumably the germs are dying? Although... Yeah, the number does seem... Yeah, the number is going down there. It's kind of going up and down periodically, but on the whole, it does look like it's trending in the downward direction. Like before, it was closer to 5,000. Now we're getting kind of closer to 4,000. It is going to take a while for all of those germs to disappear, but that is fine. Can we mop this up yet? We still cannot mop this up yet. There is so much polluted water down here. It is insane. I'm going to hold off on digging out here for a little while, just because I don't want anybody else getting slime lung or food poisoning or anything like that just yet. I want to take care of one issue at a time for now. So let us see what I want to do here real quick. I think what we're probably going to want to do, and we've accidentally trapped this poor hatchling over on the other side of the base here, but I'm thinking what I probably want to do is just lock this up. Because of the fact that this water here is lower than this tank that we're building, what we're likely going to want to do is just put down a liquid vent up here somewhere, maybe like right about wherever it is on this side, so maybe like right here at the top by the ladder, and then just have the water from our liquid pump go directly into the valve. So that would involve pumping it from here. We'd have to put a bridge to get across, and I think that's fine, honestly. It's not going to be a permanent bridge, and so I think for now we're just going to rotate that, and we'll have our water go into here and then out into there. And so eventually it's going to take a little bit, but it shouldn't take too long for all of the water to move from here round and over into our new tank, at which point we can go ahead and clear all this out. People did also point out to me between episodes that you can destroy pipes and not have the water flow everywhere, but in order to do that, you have to get the plumbing skill. Right at the bottom here, there is a plumbing skill, which gives you the ability to empty pipes. You'll see it says pipe emptying. And so if we get somebody who has improved strength and then plumbing, we can actually go ahead and get rid of pipes without having the water flow everywhere. From my understanding, they just take the water out and store it in a bottle like they would from like a pitcher pump, which is pretty good. We do have Mimar here, who is available for new skill points. Now, exosuit training. It gives her the exosuit penalty reduction, and she does have an interest in this, although I'm kind of thinking that we might want to give her medical compounding so she can use the apothecary. She's not super into it like she is in exosuit training, and we will give her this stuff later on down the line, but I think for now, if we just want to build an apothecary over here and hook it up to power, actually, I'm going to build it. I don't know where I'm going to build it. I'm going to build it here for now. This is very temporary. I know this room is like full of carbon dioxide, and that's another thing that I do want to take care of. I'm thinking of putting a carbon skimmer right about here to make this room a little bit more breathable. Although, to be fair, nobody really spends too much time in here, so that shouldn't be too big of an issue. Our little egg here is at 39% incubation, so, you know, about 2/5 of the way to becoming a fully fledged hatchling. All these guys still doing fine, which is good. Our coal ore is just shy of 10 tons as well, which is fantastic. We are heading into a bit of a stressful period. The fact that we're building in water and we're also having people come over here to get, gold and also to clear out this polluted water and the polluted oxygen. Things are going to get a bit stressful here, and people might get a little bit sick. And so I think having this apothecary is going to be very useful for us, especially if it does what I think it does and allows us to cure the slime lung. That's the idea, at least. That's the first time I've seen somebody use the hand sanitizer, so I'm quite happy somebody is using that. I thought that it would be kind of like the sinks. With the sinks, I'm fairly certain the duplicates use it every time they walk past, whereas with the hand sanitizer, they only use this if they have surface level germs. So if they have germs on them, they will then use the hand sanitizer, which I guess is pretty good, because I think this thing does maybe run out of bleach done over time, so we might have to fill it up when it runs out. So the fact that they're not wasting it, I guess, is good. Also, did we not set this up correctly? I feel like we really only need to wash our hands on the way out. I feel like we really don't need to be washing our hands on the way in. That seems like just a little bit of a waste of water, potentially. Not that water's an issue now. Now that we know that we can use polluted water that's been sieved in our sinks, it's really not too bad whatsoever. Stinky really trying to spread that slime lung to everybody in the base. So this is getting built, which is good. I would also eventually like some tiles here and here, and to get rid of this tile and put a door there. That would be grand. They've not quite gone to this yet, but that's because that's unreachable. That is fine. Could you go ahead and destroy these tiles here so that we can access this? At which point, this is fine. Water going to either of these is a-okay. You can see right now it's pumping around and then back into itself, which is not ideal. I am going to go ahead and build a slightly higher priority bit of tile right about there, just so that we can stop this backwards flooding here. Oh gosh. Yeah, the stress really is going to go up. And then can we also mop this, please? Just so it's out of the way. And I'd love to get rid of this bit as well. At some point, if at all possible, I might have to build a bit of a ladder over to this so that someone can actually get to that. But that's fine. They should put that water back in there. There should be no germs in this water. That is good. This is going to fall down into here. We do want the ladder going all the way down to the bottom, like so. And eventually, I do want to also get rid of this ladder here. This is still connected. Can I get a slightly higher priority build on these here, if you don't mind, guys? That would be grand. There we go. So now everything is trapped in here, and eventually I do want these taken care of as well, but I'm not too bothered about that getting done quickly, although I guess they are going to do it right about now. And there we go. Nice. So our tank is pretty much done. We do need to fill in this bit of wall here, but you'll notice this side is also not full on the wall front there. And so eventually all of this water should make its way around into our new tank, which is good. And then once that's done, I'll probably start looking at moving this water up into here as well, if we start to run out of fresh water, which we really shouldn't. I don't think we're going to be using fresh water for anything outside of maybe research, although I think it is quite possible that you could use food poisoning water for research if we just put down a pitcher pump onto a tank of food poisoning water, or I mean by a tank, I mean like a box like this with food poisoning water. So if we had like another tank somewhere full of water that was infested, that had been sifted, then we could probably use that for research, I assume. Probably. How you doing on slime lung? Here, you got one more cycle to recovery. It looks like things are definitely getting worse before they get better. His stress is quite high here, and he's like almost constantly in pain, which is not great. I'm not quite sure why Frankie is hungry. We do have a lot of food. And so I feel like everybody should be eating just fine. Yeah, people are eating. Maybe it's just like just before lunchtime, and so no one's eating just yet. We could potentially give people like an extra bit of downtime, but I don't necessarily think they need it. They seem to be getting they're getting the job done. This is all fine. This is all fine. Long commutes. My duplicates are spending a significant amount of time traveling between their errands. Yeah, I see that. So travel time, 50%. Look at that. So what's the issue here? I'm seeing like build, harvest, and eat are all 4%. I think we could maybe do with moving the food closer to the Great Hall here. To do that, we'd probably have to invest in a refrigerator. I don't think we have one, although we've unlocked it just yet, but if we get the refrigerator unlocked, we can put all of our food in that. That does require power, I think. Oh, we do have it unlocked. Look at that. That does require power, but it would cut down on the time that our duplicates spend running over here to get the food and then running back up to get over here. So that's something we could look at fixing. There didn't seem to be too much on this report. Storing sedimentary rock is up there, which kind of makes sense. You know, they got to go all the way over to the slime area to get it, and then they got to come back. Being idle, eating, that seems like a big one. The rest of these don't seem too bad. They're all at 2 or 1%. It mostly seems like construction supply and generating power is up there. I think nobody should be on this. This should be like a priority 2. Is Mimar currently set to do power? I don't think she is. Maybe she's, I don't know. I feel like the coal generator is doing a fine job on the power front, so I feel like really nobody should be using this. I'm actually going to take it down all the way to a level 1 there, because it really feels like that's not necessary. Is it because she doesn't have anything else to do? I think that's probably it. It looks like everything else for the most part is done here. So let me see. I'm going to build some ladders over here to take care of this. I'm just going to do this for now so they can actually get rid of this and take care of that real quick. And then we'll deconstruct a lot of what's here so we can kind of start to make room for some new stuff. I'm thinking about where I want to put my supercomputer and whatnot. Thinking about it wanting to be closer to the water. I'm not quite sure I'm going to put that yet, but I'll come back to that. I do want still to get this to a point where we can mop this up and dump it into our pre-existing polluted water bin. Germ-wise, it's looking a little bit better. Yeah, we're down to 3,000 now. We were like 5,000 the last time we checked. So that's getting a little bit better there, which is always good. People are not going to be too happy about being over here. They're going to get soggy feet. But we are now finally almost at the point where we can mop this. So once they do start to mop this, we should... yeah, look at that. We can get to the point where we can actually mop all of it. Beautiful. And then finally we can start to get this sedimentary rock without having to worry too much about them being stressed, although they are still going to be a little bit stressed. Stinkate is finally over the hump. He looks like he has made it to not being ill anymore. Not quite. He's at 0.4 cycles here, but his stress is going down. It's at 8% now, and so by the end of the day, he should be free of his slime lung, which is always good. I want all of this mopping up here. We do want to be careful because if we break any of this, it is going to release all of that onto here. Now, the Algae Distillers are good, but they are slow. And so if we do set these up, we are going to want to have multiple of them in order to get a decent amount of algae. I think they also get quite hot as well. And so we do really want them to be a fair distance away from our actual base. I'm probably just going to build them over in this the swamp biome somewhere, maybe in this area that we've cleaned out here. I might build like a room and just have it in there, and then maybe dig out down here so that carbon dioxide that's filling that room can fall at some point. This is getting there. I don't know if there's a way that we can like manually have our duplicants move the water over to here. You know, tell them to go and get a bottle with the pitcher pump and dump it with a bottle empty over here. I don't think we can do that. I would love a sweep on this. By that I mean a mop, of course, on that. If you could, that'd be great. All of this is taken care of, which is good. They're going to dump the polluted water over there, which is fantastic. We do now have quite a lot of sedimentary rock, which is good. Is that under raw mineral? It is. We got 13 tons of sedimentary rock, which is still not quite at the 173 tons of sandstone that we have, but should be more than enough to keep our hatchlings going for a while. You'll notice that we have lost a hatchling, I think. Did one die? We're down to just 3. But down here, you'll see we've got a 19% stone chance right there. Let's check some of these other guys here. 19% and 19%. So that stone hatchling egg chance is going up the more sedimentary rock that we feed them. So the longer we do that, the higher and higher that chance should get, which is fantastic. I was going to say I can start to deconstruct, I guess, some of these walls, right? Like, we don't need all of these here just yet. I'm also going to deconstruct the skill scrubber for now. I'm not really too bothered about anybody else having their skills scrubbed just yet, and so for now we can get rid of that. We can also get rid of all of these ladders here. got to be careful to make sure that you specify buildings so you don't delete your pipes and spread water everywhere. I don't think that pipes count as buildings, and so when they come to delete this, they should just delete the ladder. Hopefully. All right, we're not getting our room buff right now in here because this does not have a door, so let's go ahead and throw a door down over on the left here. And whilst we're at it, we might as well also go ahead and fix this, because now we can just do this, and if we disconnect here and here, we can actually just run this pipe over and use the food poisoning water for our sinks, because apparently that works. And I'm also thinking about maybe putting down some showers in here. I'm not too sure. As we get more and more duplicates, and we are going to get a bit of water here as well, by the way, when we break this pipe, I think. Did that work? Did that disconnect though? I don't think it did, right? I don't know how you go about, because there's no pipe here. It's just like at the connection point. I think I might have to get rid of the pipes beneath it, like get rid of these pipes. Probably. So I'll delete this one and this one, at which point the water should fall back down, and that's... hold on. Hold on, is that correct? No, this is food poisoning water, right? Oh, no, this is good water. For some reason, we got a pipe down here that we can get rid of. No, this is the good water. Yeah, this is fine. So we can get rid of this and this, at which point the clean water is going to fall down, but we can just bucket that up and dump it back into here, potentially. So I would like to get rid of this as well, so they don't put the water back into this section, at least not just yet. Please collect this water. Thank you. That's all good. And then back over in the plumbing section, let's get the new pipes, like so. And... like so. Nice. And eventually, once all the water is cleared out of here, we can get rid of these pipes and get rid of this pump. We'll move the pump over to right about there, so it's symmetrical with the other side, and everything should be good on that front. Earlier, we did accept, actually, a snazzy suit, which I'm going to go ahead and give to... I'm going to give it to Stinky. You know, he's our research guy, and on top of that... oh, here we go. I'm ready. Look at that. Look how fancy this guy. He's got like a gold jacket on his suit. Oh my goodness. So I believe he actually gets a bonus for having this on. I believe he gets either a morale bonus or a stress reduction bonus from having this, which is really nice. It's what the loom is for. We can use the loom to make better clothing for all of our duplicates. Speaking of which, we do also have the ability to pick another duplicate here. We've got Max, who has +7 cuisine, diver's lungs, and slow learner. Diver's lungs is really good. I don't know if any of our duplicates have it just yet, but it is negative 25 grams per second to their air consumption. So they actually just use and breathe in less of the oxygen in our base, meaning we have to produce less of it, which is always good. Slow learner, I think is fine. We don't need anybody else for science just yet. And ugly crier is fine on the stress front. Over here, we got Bert. Bert is germ resistant, which I guess is good in our current climate. He also has machinery. Determines how quickly a duplicate uses a machine, which is very good, and husbandry, which determines how effectively he can work with critters. He's a loud sleeper, so we would have to put him in his own bedroom, otherwise he would disturb the other people. And he's also a binge eater, which I think is fine. We've got 65,000 kilocalories right now, so this shouldn't be too much of an issue. I'm kind of torn here. I like both of these guys, honestly. I'm kind of leaning towards Bert on the interests, but the diver's lungs and the better stress reaction is also the better negative trait. Like loud sleeper is something we actively have to work with. We have to give him his own room. Whereas slow learner over here isn't really a bad thing at all. Although it does say negative 30 to skill leveling. I didn't realize that. I thought that it would just be worse at science. I'm going to go for Bert. And I'm going to make him our engineer. With maybe a side job as like a animal groomer, potentially. But I think... can I print this? Boom. 7th duplicate. I love it. So we'll use him for machinery, so we can actually get the power plant up and running. We can start tuning our generators, and then later on down the line, when we get to this mechatronics engineering, we can actually start using conveyor rail as well, which is going to be really useful. Bert does have a point available right at the start, and look at that. He's even interested in improved tinkering. Of course he is. We do still need somebody who could do plumbing, potentially, so that's something we should keep an eye out for in the future. Although I think for now, 6... I say this every time we get a new duplicate, I think, but for now, I think 6 is probably a good number to sit at for the time being. So over here in our new area, let's go ahead and set up a new room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I think it's just my default room size is 15 here, but we'll do the same again. We'll do like 15 by 4. I'm not quite sure how big the Algae Distillers are. Let me check real quick. Oh, they fit perfectly in there, and they are 3 wide, so we can actually fit 5 of these in here, and that would be perfect. It might get a little hot in there if we do that, and also it is full of polluted oxygen, but again, and carbon dioxide. But for the most part, we don't really care, although actually, I think we do care massively. And the reason that we care massively is that I'm fairly certain the way that the algae is produced is it's just dropped on the floor. And so if we're actually going to use this, our duplicates do have to come backwards and forwards every single time to actually get this. So I'm also very happy that I built this in line. I didn't do that on purpose, but I'm happy with that. I think what we might do here is we might have 4 algae distillers in here, and then the 3 gaps in the middle can maybe be used for oxygen cleaners, maybe even for some algae terrariums to try and get rid of that carbon dioxide and also produce some oxygen. I'm also thinking that I might try and build an actual corridor here so they don't have to like walk on the slime. They don't have to deal with the polluted oxygen, because I think the slime might be producing polluted oxygen as well, potentially. I'm not too sure. But if we're going to build a corridor here, that means we've got to work with this area. And so I'm thinking what we might do is kind of dig up here into this area and then build flooring like in here to push this water up so that we can then build an actual roof along this corridor here. Maybe. We'll look at that, I think, maybe in the next episode. For now, I'm just wanting to get this up and running over here and hopefully get rid of this over here so we can actually move our coal generator and get our power plant online and move this liquid pump and all that good stuff as well. We are, of course, going to have to, at some point, look into putting down even more food now that we have 6 duplicates in total. We're going to need, like, what, 30 of these mealwood farm tiles if we're going to keep everyone going. Although we have been slowly gaining food over time. And so I think right now we do have a surplus of food. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe just through finding things. Like we've got 26,000 kilocalories worth of muckroot for some reason. But for now, I'm just going to let them burn through the 70,000 kilocalories that we have. Once we get down to maybe 20,000, we'll start looking into putting down some more farm tiles. Maybe digging down a little bit further here, or maybe looking at growing our mealwood somewhere else. Maybe there's not directly in the middle of the base. But I'm not too sure. Not too sure. I think I'm going to hold off on the refrigerator until we get the power plant, because once we have a room dedicated to power, we can put down a second coal generator. Once we have that second coal generator, we should be able to run a fridge full time. A fridge is one of those machines that just constantly uses power. I think it's like 120 watts all the time, which is right now like a quarter of the power produced by our coal generator, which is actually at 600 watts. Excuse me? I thought it was produced 400. Although maybe not. There it says 400. Now it's idle. Does this thing produce 600 watts? Let me check the power tab here. Does it tell me? It doesn't tell me. Oh, no, it does. 600 watts. Oh, I thought it produced 400. My bad. Still, you know, it's like a fifth of the power then in that case. Did he have narcolepsy? He doesn't have a bed, of course. And he is a loud sleeper. Okay, so my plan bedroom-wise was to eventually give everybody their own bedroom. It's going to give them like a morale boost. It's going to give them stress reduction if they've got a nicely decored room. And if we, in the case of somebody with the loud sleeping debuff, it also allows us to keep those away from the other duplicants. Somebody else is sick. Hassan has managed to contract slime lung. Again, I think that's just something we're going to have to deal with for the time being. It's not ideal by any stretch of the imagination, but I think it's something we're just going to have to work with. I will dig out what's here and probably delete this deoxidizer for now. New skills are available. Let's go ahead and divvy those up real quick. We've got May, who is fully maxed out on the art fundamentals right now, and she's not able to do research. I think she might be a yokel. And do we give her plumbing? I think we might, you know, we might have like an artist / plumber. Sure, let's go for it. We'll give her improved strength so that she can be our plumber when we need to remove all of these pipes, which we're going to have to do fairly soon here. Are we at the point where we can sweep this yet? Not quite. We will get to a point where we can mop this up, at which point we can just get rid of the liquid pump and move it all manually. Speaking of which, I do, of course, wish to put down the bottle emptier right about there. And once they build that, we are, of course, going to set that to water. We'll dig this out. But yeah, essentially, I was thinking of having bedrooms up at the top here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to have like a roof like this. And then just some bedrooms up here, maybe 4x4. They do run into a bit of an issue in that I have to build here, which is going to let that chlorine out. So we are going to have to do some work with that before we can do that. For now, I'm thinking what I might do is just maybe put a cot down somewhere else. Like right about here. It's not ideal, but it should be fine for the time being so that our new Bert doesn't have to sleep on the floor all day, which is definitely going to cause some stress. So we'll have him do that. I do also want to move this pipe up as well when we get the chance, but that's a low priority task for the time being. We can get rid of that ladder, that's all fine. And do we have what it takes to put down all of our algae distillers over in this new area? We are going to have to move that ladder, that's fine. So we're going to do that, and then we'll make the new ladder first. So the new ladder is going to go smack bang in the middle like so. So we'll delete this and we'll delete this, and then we'll get rid of this ladder. We'll put another algae distiller right about here, at which point we can start using some of the large amount of slime that we have, the 4,000 kilograms of slime to be precise, to actually produce some polluted water and also to produce some excess algae as well. We're very, very close on the waterfront there, so much so that we're actually at the point where we can do it. So I will go ahead and deconstruct the pump. I'll also deconstruct the pitcher there. That doesn't need to be there. We do need to put the pitcher pump back down again so our duplicates can access the water. I think for now, I'll put it like here. We're not going to get any more clean water unless we manually pump it from down here. And so for now, putting this here should be just fine. We'll dig out that area. We'll specify that you are going to put regular water into there. And so once this is done, they'll start putting all that regular water over in there, and that will be good. And everybody's now trapped in here because we do not have the tiles required to get out. So let's go ahead and build those. Frankie has just decided he's sleeping on the floor. Oh wait, never mind. Now he's going to the toilet. All right, this is looking good. This is looking good. We made some good progress today. This area over here is now much, much clearer than it was previously, and so we can actually start to go ahead and kind of deconstruct a lot of what is over here. Pretty much all of this needs to go. This is where the next floor is going to be, so we'll connect that up eventually. For now, we'll just start working on actually getting rid of like almost everything that's here. Stinky's in for a bit of a world of hurt there. I paused real quick and oh wow, he's a madman. Look at that. He managed to climb up there. That's incredible. We'll do the ladders last, just so they can actually delete all this stuff before it's too late. Is there no oxygen over here? Oh no, there is. It's just Hassan is afflicted with slime lung, of course. Of course. Okay, can you delete these ladders when you get a spare minute as well? That would be fantastic, so we can actually start to use the new ladders and also put down our fourth and final little algae distiller here. Again, they do require power, of course. Right now, they need 120 watts each, and so again, I think I will wait to actually turn these on until next episode when we have our coal power up and running faster than we got it right now. We will, however, throw down the final algae distiller right about there. And most of what's in here is carbon dioxide. I was going to say we could always go ahead and put down some scrubbers here. And by scrubbers, I mean deodorizers, but it seems unnecessary. Germs are still on the decline, which is good, although they are spreading out here. Again, we do have a deodorizer, and so this should take care of it. I'm quite tempted to put down like just a few more deodorizers, potentially, to try and, you know, speed this up. I think that might help us quite a bit. But yeah, this is going to be our algae distill area. That's all good. These are all still scheduled to be deconstructed, but I think all our duplicates are just busy doing other stuff right now. Eventually, we will want to have a pump down here, although I think for now, we can't have it there. We have to have it over by one because of the pitcher pump there. But for now, I don't think it matters too much. I might move the supercomputers into this room here, like maybe on this side, and just have like a little ladder that allows them to get to the water here. It's not perfect, but it's a little better. Okay, so 1 or 2 cycles later, and everything is looking much, much nicer than it did mere moments ago. People are still complaining about long commutes. That's not changed. We now have 2 duplicates with slime lung. Frankie has also managed to contract it, which is not the best, but we now have a coal generator in its own room. We've got it with the smart battery. It's set up in the exact same way as before. We've got the automation wire turning it off when the battery is too full and then turning it back on again when the battery falls down. Here is our storage bin storing all of the coal that we have. Now a much shorter trip, hopefully getting it from here to here, although not much shorter, I guess, just a little bit shorter. For now, I've gotten rid of the algae terrariums. We might put those back down somewhere else. I've also moved the ration box over to here for now. It is still unrefrigerated, but it is still deeply covered in carbon dioxide, and so should continue to get that sterile atmosphere buff, which slows down the decay, which is good. We do need to put down one final thing into the power room here, that, of course, being a station. The power control station, which requires 200 kilograms of refined metal, and so I will go ahead and request 4 to get 200 kilograms. I think that's right. Yeah, 200 kilograms of copper, and then we'll throw that down, at which point that should become a power plant, I believe. Yep, requires a power control station, minimum of 12 tiles, maximum of 96. I think we're 15 by 4, which is only 60, of course, so that should be fine. New skill points, again, are available. We got Stinky over here, who is ready for improved carrying, I guess. So we can get him into exosuit training, I guess. We're pushing down the same line as Mimar here. We really do need somebody who can do plumbing, and also somebody with the electrical engineering. We are working down both those lines, which is going to take us a little bit of time to get there, which is fine. And then blueprint-wise, I'm not going to take another duplicate just yet, but I will maybe a poke shell or a fried mushroom. We don't really need the kilocalories, so I'll take the poke shell. This thing looks adorable. A snippy little pocket shell spawn. In time, it will mature into a fully grown poke shell. I'll take it. That thing looks adorable. Look at this. It even comes in like a little... Oh my, look at that. That thing is adorable. Oh my goodness. It's a tiny little baby. I have no idea what this does. I may have brought like a deadly beast into my base here, but it takes polluted dirt and rot pile and produces sand. Okay. For now, I'm just happy to let that guy bounce around the base if he likes. But the base is looking a lot more symmetrical now, which I'm very happy about. We've got some work to do with the cots up here. Again, I might want to move those into bedrooms higher up later on down the line. And also this room here could do with some work. And of course, this is still off-center with the research station, but we'll work on that next episode. For now, I just want to try and finish up this station here, which we should have any minute now with Stinky going to town on the rock crusher over there. Next time we'll come back, we'll work on getting the Algae Distillers up and running. We'll also look at trying to tackle our growing slime lung problem, which, I don't know, is getting a bit better over here. You can see we're down to like oxygen and everything's starting to look a little bit better. Maybe we could do with putting some diffusers over here or some terrariums. I feel like the more oxygen there is here, the faster the slime lung will die. Maybe, although here, there's a lot of oxygen and the slime lung is still there. So maybe that's not the case. I'm not too sure. But we'll try more to get rid of this, if at all possible. It is kind of slowly spreading into the base, which is not what I want, and more of our duplicates are getting affected by it, which is, of course, not what I'm after. So we'll try and take care of that. For now, though, station-wise, we can make the power control station. We will throw it right about there. Why not? We can always rearrange this room when needed. I probably should have checked the required height before I built it. It's lucky for us that it does actually fit in here, which is good. Although I think most machines do fit within that 4-tile wide or 4-tile high room frame. So this guy cannot do anything just yet because the colony lacks an electrical engineering skill, but it is a power plant. Nice. Doesn't do anything just yet again, but eventually we'll get the new skill point. We'll be able to upgrade this room and actually get more power out of our coal generator. We do, of course, have a ton of airflow tiles here, so that all of the carbon dioxide produced by the generator should fall down into this room here. I might put some more airflow tiles here as well, potentially, but we also might have to start just pumping the carbon dioxide out of here if it gets out of hand, or again, maybe look into the CO2 scrubbers. And next episode, we'll come back, we'll do the algae. We'll also do the hydroponic farms. We'll fill this room down here with more hydroponic farms so we can get more thimbleweed, so that we can start to make our base look a little bit nicer with some paintings all over the place. We'll maybe look at getting our dupes some clothing. That's something that we've talked about a bit today, but only Stinky right now has the fancy suit. That's something we can work on, push through the progression tree, work on more bedrooms, move our research station, all that good stuff. There's so much stuff still yet to do, and somehow we've managed to gain food despite the fact that we have gained an extra duplicate. But for now, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up today's episode of Oxygen Not Included there. As always, if you did enjoy the video and you want to see more Oxygen Not Included in the future, be sure to go ahead and hit that like button. It really does help out a lot. Leave a comment down below, subscribe if you're new here to get notified as soon as new videos go out. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.